alayhi salam, when he lost his 2 children, he doesn't complain. So here, Prophet Ayuub alayhi salam accepted what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given him. And then the only thing is, he got hurt when some people start saying, if he was truly loved by Allah, and if he was truly a prophet of Allah, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala would not do this to him. So that's when he raised his hand, وَنَادَى رَبَّهُ أَنِّي مَسَّنِيَ الضُّرُّ. He raised his hand and calls Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, I've been touched by harm, وَأَنْتَ أَرْحَمُ الرَّاحِمِينَ. And right away it says in the Quran, فَاسْتَجَبْنَا لَهُ. We had answered him. And again, the letter feh in Arabic means right away, there is no in between. As soon as he asks, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, فَاسْتَجَبْنَا لَهُ. And we have to realize this. And rather than those who says only Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala answers the good people or answers the prophet, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, remember, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, وَقَالَ رَبُّكُمْ ادْعُونِي أَسْتَجِبْ لَكُمْ. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, ask me and I will give you. And as we said before, Umar ibn Khattab says, I'm never worried about the answer because Allah promised He will answer us. I'm worried that I ask the wrong thing. And a lot of us ask for money or whatever, and then when we get it, we maybe lose our health and say, this is not what I wanted. So Umar ibn Khattab was worried about the wrong question, not the answer, because he knows that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will fulfill it. فَاسْتَجَبْنَا لَهُ. And he was, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala answered his prayer, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tells him, hit the earth, there will be a stream of water, wash your body with it, and you will be cured. Subhanallah. And he does, and he's cured. And we see here, he didn't have to go far away for a treatment. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala brought the treatment for him. An important thing here, how many of us say, okay, let's study the waters of the wells and streams to see where the cure is. As Muslims, we argue among ourselves as we keep saying, Allah is with us, what does Allah is with us mean? And we argue. When we really could not comprehend Allah. He says He's with us, how we don't know. And we argue. And argue on things we have no control and don't understanding. And in the Quran, when it tells us the water cured him, how many of us says, let's go and study this water and find the cure? Because Rasul sallallahu alayhi wa sallam tells us, لِكُلِّ دَاءٍ دَوَاءٍ فَتَدَاوُوا. Every disease Allah has created a cure for it. Find this cure. Find what cured Prophet Ayuub and treat. Instead, we look at the Quran and argue among ourselves, what does it mean Allah is with us? And we waste all our energy when we could not comprehend what it means. لَيْسَ كَمِثْلِهِ شَيْءٍ. It's nothing like Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So how could any of us comprehend what this statement means? And yet the things that we have control over, no, we wait for somebody else to do the research and go and find the cure, and we use it. So here in the Quran, it gives us examples that we could go and do research and find out and help and find these cures that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has promised us with. And then we look here and we see that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala cured him. That when the wife comes back, she looks at him and she didn't recognize him. He was sick for a long time, and she tells him, you look like my husband, but I know my husband is very sick. He tells her, I am your husband, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has cured me. Subhanallah, Allah cured him. And they say while he was sick, she did something wrong, and he told her he will hit her with a stick 100 times. And some of the stories say she was late, and some stories say she cut her hair to buy bread, and he said this. And subhanallah, I like to investigate everything. Would the Prophet of Allah hit his wife because she was late? She's late because she's serving him. Does that make sense? But these are the stories that some of the people say. One of the stories that says that the shaitan came to her and said to her, I am a doctor and I could cure your husband. Ask your husband to accept that when he's cured, he says that this doctor cured him, it wasn't Allah. And that's where he got upset. And makes sense because Rasul sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, if we look at Rasul sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, لم يغضب لنفسه قط. He would never get angry for himself, but he will be angry if somebody does something for hudud Allah. So here it might make sense that she asked him to do something that is against the iman, that as it says in the Quran, وَإِذَا مَرِضْتُ فَهُوَ يَشْفِينِ. If I'm sick, it is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala who's cured. So anyhow, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tells him to fulfill his nazr, and tells him take 100 straws and hit her once. Straws that doesn't hurt. So barely touch her, and this you have fulfilled, that you have hit her 100 times. So subhanallah, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala asked him to fulfill it, but do the very easy thing. not to harm her or not to cause anything. And another lesson we learn from here, this is the wife that's been taking care of him for 18 years. And yet for whatever the cause is, he told her he will punish her. And yet she didn't leave him and say, you are ungrateful. I help you all this time and I do this wrong thing. She still stayed with him and she still cared for him. SubhanAllah, so it's a test for her and the test for him, and they both passed the test. SubhanAllah, if it was a movie, and in the movie in the last 5 minutes they show us that he was cured and he had a lot of money and a lot of things, and it gives us a warm feeling in our heart. But here Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tells us in the Quran, وَأَتَيْنَاهُ أَهْلُ وَمِثْلَهُمْ مَعَهُ. After Allah cured him, he gave him children and gave him money again. There's a very important lesson for all of us to learn. He obeyed Allah. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tested him, as it says in the Quran, أَحَسِبَ النَّاسُ أَن يُتْرَكُوا أَن يَقُولُوا أَمَنَّا وَهُمْ لَا يُفْتَنُونَ. As people think that they just say we believe and there's no test. He said he believed, there was a test, he lost it all. And he still was patient and he still said Alhamdulillah. So what happened? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gave him everything back in a dunya, and he had more kids, he had a lot of money, and he had all his health. This is a very important lesson for all of us. Because some of the scholars try to tell us, give up on ad-dunya. We don't want anything from ad-dunya, and all our reward is in al-akhirah. If this was true, we would have heard he died and his reward was in al-akhirah. But Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wants to show us, you obey Allah, you will get the best in ad-dunya and the best in al-akhirah. So Prophet Ayuub alayhi salam was cured and had all his money and his children back better than what he had before. Why? Because he obeyed Allah. So he got the reward in ad-dunya and a reward in al-akhirah. And as we said before, the early Muslims, they obeyed Allah, and then what happened within 20 years, they ruled the world and they had so much money coming. Why? Because they obeyed Allah. So they got the reward in ad-dunya. Those who try to tell us Islam is only about al-akhirah, because they know that the human nature, we want the best in ad-dunya too. So by trying to tell us only in al-akhirah, they want to kill this feeling in us. And then we say, okay, we'll follow other civilizations in what they do in ad-dunya, and we just pray for al-akhirah. Rather than if you obey Allah, you'll get the best in ad-dunya and the best in al-akhirah, just like we see in the story of Prophet Ayuub alayhi salam. And that's what we have to realize. أَطِعَ اللَّهِ يَطِعْكَ كُلِّ شَيْءٍ. Obey Allah, everything will obey you. Very simple statement. Isn't that better than we follow somebody and we ask for somebody, and if he's in a good frame of mind, he might give us, and if he's in a bad frame, he says come back tomorrow, and you go back tomorrow and he says come back next week. What's the choices? Why not ask Allah? And it's, as it says, فَاسْتَجَبْنَا لَهُ. He got everything he wants. And yet we choose to follow other and follow humans, and we get what we deserve. So this is the story that tells us obey Allah and you will get it all, inshaAllah. And these are the lessons. So some of the lessons which we learn from Prophet Ayuub alayhi salam. اللهم اهدنا يا مولانا فيمن هديت وعافنا فيمن عافيت وقنا واصرف عنا شر ما قضيت اللهم بارك لنا فيما أعطيت اللهم إنك عفو تحب العفو فاعف عنا اللهم إنا على ذكرك وشكرك وحسن عبادتك اللهم لا تجعل لنا في جمعنا هذا ذنبا إلا غفرته ولا مريضا إلا شفيته ولا هما إلا فرجته ولا دينا إلا قضيته ولا ضالا إلا هديته ولا حاجة لنا في هذه الدنيا لك فيها رضا ولنا فيها صلاح إلا قضيتها يا رب العالمين اللهم اغفر للمؤمنين والمؤمنات الأحياء منهم والأموات اللهم اغفر لنا ولإخواننا الذين سبقونا بالإيمان ولا تجعل في قلوبنا غلا للذين آمنوا ربنا إنك غفور رحيم ربنا هب لنا من أزواجنا وذرياتنا قرة أعين واجعلنا المتقين إماما عباد الله إن الله يأمر بالعدل والإحسان وإيتاء ذي القربى وينهى عن الفحشاء والمنكر والبغي يعظكم لعلكم تذكرون اذكروا الله يذكركم واستغفروه يغفر لكم وأقم الصلاة